Not only is this an international world effort, part of a world order, old world order, new world order, but the devil's in the details, that all of these happened around the winter solstice. Even this one here on the screen from the 1930s. So please keep that in mind, because I hope to be able to squeeze in the rest of that witchcraft segment that we were talking about when I was playing the clip of the demonologist. I'm going to try to fit all those puzzle pieces together. I know this is getting long, but I really want to squeeze that in. If not, it'll be in the next set. But there's definitely a connection between this winter solstice and the Sabbats and all of these witch covens that have taken over the world, right? We've got Bohemian Grove, a group of elitists now over here in the United States as well. And then the witch coven from the Bavarian forest, that's where we got the Illuminati. And then the Black Forest that spawned Walt Disney, all of the fairy tales about the witches in the forest and the kids in the ovens and, you know, all of Grimm's fairy tales stuff. And that's on the border with France here, which also links back to the Sabbateans, because the leader of the Sabbateans, Jacob Frank, was also present with Rothschild and Weishaupt at the founding of the Bavarian Illuminati. And if you're new to this channel, or you just haven't heard the history of the Sabbateans and the Frankists and all of that type of thing, your go-to guy on that would be Robert Sepper. He's written this book here, 1666, Redemption Through Sin. He's one of the best anthropologists around, with just a phenomenal knowledge of archaeology and everything. And this is one of many of his great books. They were a Babylonian satanic cult that broke off from the mainstream Jewish religion. He proclaimed that he was the Messiah. He was the return of the Messiah, and they needed to do as thou wilt, right? That's the new freedom, was to do as thou wilt. And so they took part in all these orgies and all this sexual perversion. And so the mainstream Jews kicked him out and ran him out. So next, they converted to Islam. True story. Although they were kind of forced to, because of all their evil crimes, they were given an ultimatum, like, okay, you can escape this punishment if you convert. So they gladly did that and infiltrated Islam. And then a huge portion of them also went into the Catholic Church and infiltrated the Catholic Church and actually intermarried with several of the ruling families in the Catholic Church. They did it on purpose to infiltrate, to get that influence. So even though the mainstream has told us that most of the records from the Gothic era, the Dark Ages, are lost to history, I mean, they couldn't even write and stuff. They were all just a bunch of serfs and all of this. No, those records have been purposely obscured by the Vatican, because these people took over the Vatican.